Hi, and welcome to ADHD Friendly. I am Patty. I'm an ADHD coach, and I'm here to help you thrive with your ADHD. If you'd like more support that is possible to share with you over this platform, I invite you to check out my ADHD Friendly membership at ADHDfriendly.com, where ADDers get more things done. I am celebrating a trip that I took. I am going to share a tip for how to use a help menu to ask for help a little bit more easily. And then our main topic today is when ADHD and anxiety, I'm anxious even about saying it, collide. So this is episode 210. Let's dive in. All right, 210, that means it's a special 10 episode. So I'm tackling a heavier topic, which is how ADHD and anxiety often overlap and coincide. So let's build up some energy for that by doing a celebration. So I do that I went to Arizona to visit my brother and sister-in-law. And it was a great quick trip, but I got to go to Tombstone, which is something I've always wanted to do. Tombstone with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, one of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it at least once a year, if not a couple of times a year. Anytime it's on at any point, I'm like, oh, is it Tombstone? Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, what's coming up? What's coming up? Is it the You're a Daisy if you do, or, oh, you're a Huckleberry? I just love it. So I got to go and see a lot of the landmarks, the OK Corral and the Oriental Saloon that Wyatt Earp and his brothers had a partial take in. And it was a little kitschy. It was a little, touristy, but it was still cool to think about, like all like the wooden planked sidewalk areas that I know that they walked along, and it was so kind of cool. And I got to see like Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday's houses. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a very quick visit, but I'm so glad that we talked about it in advance. We made the plan and I went through and did it, which I know sounds simple, but it really isn't. I'm watching my dog try to talk herself into jumping up on the chair. She's like, should I? Can I do it? Can I? Sure. Yeah, she has performance anxiety. I get it. She's getting older. So that's my big celebration. And then what I purchased this week. So I had a custom t-shirt made for my son that they're just so sweet, and they're killing me at the same time. Just figuratively, I jest. But I had to send it to my daughter who lives in the same apartment complex as my son, but I didn't have his address handy, and I was doing this in a way like where I couldn't easily get to his address. So I was like, can I just send it to you and you can give it to him? Sure. So it arrived a week ago. Yeah. It is still in daughter's mailbox. Son keeps forgetting to ask her to get it from her mailbox. So I don't know if he likes it or not, but I did the thing that I intended to do, which is order it. And I think it's funny. I made a custom shirt with his cat on it. Oh, and his cat's name is Danger, which I think is hysterical. And so the shirt says, I laugh in the face of danger. And it's a picture of him and this cat. And I just think it was funny. So I'm hoping that he, thinks it's funny. And I'm hoping he also, I don't think they watch my podcast, but I've got 2 weeks before this comes out. Surely they'll have figured it out by then. If not, then maybe that'll motivate him to go and get it from her. I also got some souvenirs, of course. When I was at Tombstone, I got a t-shirt that said, oh gosh, I'm gonna freeze on the quote. It was a Wyatt Earp quote where he says, and hell's coming with people. What's the line before that? This is my brain. I'm so sorry. This is my brain. This is my brain on ADHD. Remember the old commercials? This is your brain on drugs. And it had like eggs frying in it. And I always think of that when my brain freezes. I'm like, this is a brain. This is a brain on ADHD. It just freezes under the pressure. Anyway, I got a cool t-shirt. That was $21. I got coasters that were $18. I got an ornament for my tree that is like a silhouette cut out of metal of them walking. It's like that scene from the movie Tombstone where they're walking towards the OK Corral and they're all lined up. And it's so obviously they're with like Val Kilmer's like that, those long like trench coats on, and it's like they're blowing, and that you could see. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And I thought, okay, that encapsulates like this trip. I love to get an ornament that reminds me of exactly where I went. Instead, I used to get like these, oh, I bought it while I was there and it has nothing to do with the location. So now I'm like, where was this from? What? So now I try really hard to always get an ornament that automatically highlights that. And then I got, this is going to sound funny. I got a cushion seat from Amazon that you can use. Like if you, like when I go to watch my husband's hockey games, he plays like an adult league. And you sit like on this wooden or metal bench and they're freaking freezing and hard.
Yeah, not comfortable.
It's really uncomfortable. So I'm not even enjoying the game. I'm like, this is like really uncomfortable.
You're just tolerating it.
But also my knit group meets in a restaurant every week that has these really hard wooden chairs. And I'm like, I'm just going to pack this little like seat cushion to sit on. And so funny because everybody else was like, okay, if you do it, I'm going to bring mine. So I ordered a new one because I realized I thought I had one and I didn't. And so I brought it with me and I pulled it out and I sat on it and I was like, check me out, girls. I am like I'm sitting high, I'm cozy, I'm comfortable. So I'm really happy that I did something that I don't think my younger self would have done. I think I would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to bring a padded seat with me.
Right.
But I just tuck it in my knit bag and bring it with me. But now I have it for hockey games and any other kind of seating things. I just don't do well sitting on a really hard surface. Thankfully, I'm a couple of pounds heavier than I used to be, but my butt still has like, I can still sit on my butt bones and it hurts. So that it gives me a little more cushion in there. So yeah. Okay. My last thing is the product of the week. This is the last thing I purchased. So I had this fabric diffuser for years. And this one, it worked okay. I never loved it. And then it, like when I used it last time, it just kind of
died off.
And so I changed the batteries, nothing. Like the thing is just dead. And I never used it that much. So it's funny, I still have the box. I kept it in the closet because it just helped me remember it existed. But I did some research and found this guy on Amazon. So it's the Beautiful, I have no idea why it's called this, fabric shaver. It came in 2 different sizes and I decided to up it up, to jump it up, because the bigger one has, and here it is, it comes with a little cover, which I didn't realize at first. And I'm like going on my foot and I'm like, why is this not, I swear sometimes guys, it's true. But this one has the little catch.
Oh, that's nice.
The catch and release, if you will, of the of the lint you're getting off of your garment. The smaller one, not that one, the smaller one of this didn't come with that. And I was like, where's it all going to go? Is it just going to like follow it? No. So it was a little bit more. This one was $18.67. So not bad at all.
No.
But what I like about it too, because the other one, I didn't know what was going on with the batteries. I didn't know if there was like, like acid leaks and I had no idea what was going on. So this one just charges.
Recharge it.
Yep. And it's the same chargers as my phone and my iPad and everything.
Yeah.
So I did it on one arm and then I realized, oh, I should demonstrate this because guys, this is why I'm sharing this with you. So here is a sweater that I just wear. Becca sees me in this all the time. It's just like my comfy, like around the house sweater. If you are listening to this podcast, check out my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly. I'm going to try to show you all the pills on this. Can you see those guys? Like it is just pill city.
Yeah.
I did it yesterday on this arm.
How satisfying.
And I didn't like, I was wearing it at the time, but I mean, it's like so much less pilling. There's still pilling on here as I'm looking at it up close, but I'm going to go with the arm that has it everywhere and just I wonder if I should like kind of put it on my arm a little bit to get some tension there. Yeah, some traction. It has 2 speeds.
Ooh.
Satisfying noise. Like Becca's all like leaning around the computer to make sure she's seeing it. And like, can you see it?
I want one.
Here's the thing that I'm loving, because like I'll go over, like if there's like, oh, there's a bigger one there. It's very satisfying. It's almost like getting knots out of your hair or something. I don't know. Like I find it really, really satisfying.
Fun.
And it doesn't hurt my sweater.
Yeah, no, it's not pulling.
And I have to say, I don't buy sweaters that have that note, pills a lot and stuff because
you want the sweater that's pilling.
Well, and I've never had good luck removing them. Even with my old diffuser, it was never very good at it. So
that one's amazing.
This one, and look, like I swear, I just knocked it everywhere.
Look at that.
What did I do that for? 20 seconds?
If that.
And I mean, and it's not hurting my sweater. At least,
Yeah.
you know, guys, I'm not a fabric. I always say I'm not an expert in anything except my own challenges and what to do about them with
Right.
ADHD, and ADHD, but an executive function. So I guess I have a few things that I know a lot about, but general like life things, not as much. Like I'm a work in progress. I'm still learning. So if like you're listening to this, you're like, oh my gosh, Patty, like that is so like not the thing. This is what you do. Please, this is episode 210. Post away. Tell me what I don't know, because I learn something new every stinking day. And some things I feel like I probably should have known 50 years ago, or not 50, but 30 years ago, because I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to know it. But it's so satisfying to find a tool that is under 20 bucks that does the thing I need it to do. And I feel like now I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, don't lift your arm, because it's always this, you know, part of the sweater that gets all, it's like the wrist up here. And I don't want to wear things that make me self-conscious. I want to wear things I feel good in. And that just kind of like revitalizes some of my favorite things. So yeah, that's my product of the week.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. All right, now for my tool for this week. And this is use a help menu. If you have difficulty asking for help, make it easier by capturing what would make it possible to ask for in a help menu. So I'm going to talk about what that looks like. But first, I'm going to show you a picture of just literally like some very loose structure that could help you do that. So it's just, I made a spreadsheet, simple, simple, simple. The type of help you need can go in one part of the column, the name or the resource that can provide the help, and then where or how you ask for the help. We get stuck at all of these places. Like, I don't even know where I would ask. I don't even know who I would ask. How would I ask them? You know, it's like all of these things create decision points that will keep us stuck. So it's really hard, especially with ADHD, to ask for help. Our executive function skills are impacted. So we have to make decisions. We have to think about the wording. We have to think about, have I asked for help recently? Are they going to get tired of me asking? Because sometimes we can be a little, I'll speak for myself, like needy when it comes to the help area. I know like my husband, thankfully, is someone who really enjoys being asked for help. Like he'll get upset if I like struggle too much on
Or
something.
try to do it yourself.
And and it's something that I shouldn't be struggling. Like it's not, he doesn't want me to not do things. He just doesn't want me to struggle if it's something that I probably shouldn't be doing anyway. And by that, I mean, like, I'll move furniture on my own. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to bother you. He's like, will you stop? He's like, you're going to hurt yourself. And then, you know, what the hell's that going to help?
Yeah.
So keep in mind that because our executive function skills are impacted, it literally creates difficulty organizing our thoughts and, you know, kind of landing on what's the plan I'm going to make to ask for help. All of that requires effort, and we'll resist it because it's like, you know what, I'm just going to figure it out myself. We tend to have this mindset that we just need to figure it out and do it ourselves. We also are afraid of being judged for needing help. So we might resist asking for it because we're embarrassed that we need it, and we don't want other people to know that we can't do it on our own. We might even be afraid of that rejection. So remember, we have rejection sensitivity. So what if we ask for help and that person either says no, or maybe even mocks us for needing it, right? So maybe someone might be like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you need help with that, whatever. Yeah, I'll help you. And now we're kind of like, you know what, I wish I just figured it out on my own. Yeah. So to make it easier to ask for help, we need to reduce the friction of asking and create structure that will work for your brain. So this is where it's customized again, right? I'm like noticing this is like my new, like I bought this, I told Becca like last season, I'm noticing I'm gonna sit down, it's like it's looking very lazy. It's forcing me to sit up. I'm like questioning my yes, exactly. So thinking about a help menu in that context is where it's a tool that can help us go from what we are realizing we need to getting what we need. So it literally creates structure to think about, who would I ask for help? How would I ask for it? So even if we're like, oh, I know I can, like, let me use my husband again. I know I can ask Mark, but maybe I need to think about like, don't ask him after he just came in from outside and he's like all sweaty from working in the yard. And I'm like, hey, you know what?
You got it?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'd like to do this now,
Right now,
but I need your help. You know, it's like pick your time kind of thing. Identifying resources. So maybe like mine, like if I have, say, like we had like a recent plumbing thing, and I might write like, okay, my first go-to is just to make my husband aware of it because he's pretty handy.
Yeah.
But then like, who do I call
After that.
if that's not the solution,
Yeah.
right? So it might be like listing multiple resources. Yeah, yeah. Or maybe even writing down some scripts. So knowing what to say, how to say it can
Yeah.
really help break through that, especially if you're like, I like to text because it gives me time to like rate it and think about it before I hit send, where if I say it, I get, people get tongue tied. I get brain tied
Yeah.
where
Like, put it in a spot.
it's like, I now feel like I'm asking in a way, and I feel like it came out in a way that could sound, and I know it's not just a limiting belief I have.
Yeah.
Like, I know sometimes I will say it in a way that makes it sound like I'm demanding it or something, because I'm so in my head thinking about the way to say it that it'll come out with a tone that it's like I've got too many things I'm trying to do. And so I couldn't focus on the tone as well. And so it came out sounding like a demand, or like a rude kind of like, you should have thought of this before. Like, why do I even have to ask you? And that wasn't at all where I was coming from, but it comes across that way because I'm already using up all of my bandwidth trying to think of how to ask for the thing I don't want to have to ask. And I hope I'm not creating an imposition. And, all of those things are going on at the same time. So I do better if I write down my requests where I can. And then deciding how and when to reach out. So do you want to text? Do you want to call? Do you want to ask in person? When do you want to ask it? Is this a morning person? Is this a night person? Like I always tell my kids, no, don't ask me for things late in the afternoon or the evening. The answer is going to be no, especially if it's something that you really want. Like if you like wanted somebody to come over this weekend and I've just worked all day, I've been around people all day, don't ask me at night.
No.
I'm like, because all I'm thinking is, oh, I got nothing this weekend. And even though like your company isn't like my work, it's still more effort for me because I'm an introvert to like tolerate people being in my space when I'm trying to like recharge my batteries. So I'm like, don't ask me when I'm already depleted, because the answer is probably going to be no. So thinking about those things lowers our resistance because we have a tool to go back and tap into. So here are some categories that I just want to give you examples of the categories. So who to ask? Maybe you have a list of friends, family, roommate, coach, a doctor or a professional. Maybe a coworker at work that's really good at certain things, or a manager that you can ask for accountability if you need it, whatever it is. List your people resources, and then what they're good at. Like, what are their strengths that you could ask for help with? How to ask. So again, thinking about if you're doing it over a call, do you want to do a voice call? Do you want to do a video call so you can show them kind of what's going on? This comes up with knitting, or I'm like, hey guys, like I'll send a picture. I'm like, what is this? Like, what did I do?
That's a good idea.
I have no idea. I'm like, if I bring this to knit group, would somebody be able to help me figure this out? Or do I need to do something else? Do I need to rip back? And I always say, and don't tell me I have to rip back. I'm really bad at ripping back. Okay. The third thing is to define what you actually need. So people can get exhausted. I'll again speak of me. I tend to preamble. I tend to talk to explain why I need the help. People can get exhausted if your verbal processing and they just want to know, what is it that you need? Or you're not even sure what you need yet. All you know is you need help, but you haven't really defined exactly what it is that's going on. So maybe just defining, I need just to talk this out. It might be like, I don't need you to solve this. I just need to talk this through because I can't make sense of it. And I just need you to partner with me. So you're asking for that literal, like what I need, but you might need help with tasks. So it might be like, you know what, I need to get this done. I don't need you to do anything, but could you like hang in the room, maybe like, do your thing on your computer while I'm filing my papers and shredding or whatever. Or maybe I do need you to listen to what I'm saying and see if you notice anything. Like as I talk this through, I think I'm going to be able to figure it out. Could you just tell me if I say like the obvious solution and I didn't catch it or something? Maybe you need an accountability buddy. You need somebody that you can check in with and say, hey, my plan this weekend is to get this done. Can I check in with you once I finished?
Make sure I'm doing what I said.
Because if that works for you, then that can be really helpful. But that's also where it's really important to notice in your help menu, who is a good person for you to ask for that accountability from? Because if the person isn't going to notice that you didn't check in and they really are like, whatever guy, like you didn't get in, like that's on you. You told me you check in. I'm not going to like, or I'm not even going to be aware you did. And I'll just be like, oh, if you check in, I'll be like, cool, yeah, good on you. Or if that person's going to judge you and be like, well, it's like Sunday night. I thought you were going to do it on Saturday.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Or you like send a picture and you're like, okay, like, is that done? Is that what you're calling done? I thought you said you were going to clean up. Right. So like think about who you're asking for the accountability from to make sure. Exactly. No, but that can really, that can be a non-starter where you go to do it and you're realizing, oh my gosh, this person's going to be like,
totally judging
you asked me to judge you and now you're not checking in exactly when you say whatever. Ask for the help where it's going to be helpful. The last two things are think about the resources and the tools that you can get help from. So maybe it's not a person, maybe it's a place. So like my go-to recently has been like, I'll put it into Chat GPT and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to figure out, and a lot of times it's a software computer techie thing. And instead of trying to poke around in the frequently asked questions or figure it out in that app itself, which is so frustrating,
and time consuming,
I'll just put it into AI and be like, hey, I can't figure out how to do this. Can you give me step-by-step instructions for how to do that on a Mac? Because I want to be like clear at what kind of computer I'm using or on my iPhone or whatever. Maybe you want to enlist a professional like a coach or a therapist or a doctor. So if it's something that you're really struggling with, I'm going to tie it into anxiety, which is our main topic in a second. Maybe, it's that you need help that requires a professional. So identifying like, who is that and what does that look like so that you're getting the help you actually need? Or maybe your resource could be a checklist. So you're like, okay, I've got this help menu. And one of the things on my help menu is I know it helps me to get started if I make a list. To have a checklist of what do I need to do to get this finished or whatever it is. And then the final thing is that timing. Decide the best time to reach out for help. So again, keep in mind the resource and when the best time, either for you, ideally for both of you, but if you're like using a resource that's not a person, what's the best time to use that resource? So if like for me, if I'm going to try to solve a tech problem at night, I'm going to overwhelm myself and not get any sleep because it's going to fire up my stress and cortisol levels. And that's it. I'm out. So not a good thing. So if I'm trying to solve a tech problem, I'll even be like, I'm going to look at this tomorrow, I'll make a little note, but I'm not going to do this tonight because it's not going to help me. So this works because we're capturing the details of what could help us ask for help on our help menu. It creates structure you can tap into. It also can normalize it's okay to ask for, excuse me, that it can be, I'm like, I had my coffee. It's okay to ask for help. So add notes to for your future self. So if you asked for help and it went well, write down what about that worked.
Yeah.
So your future self is like, oh, that's right. That's right. They like so are, the kind of person that likes to help others. So they made me actually feel really good about asking them for their expertise, because people do sometimes appreciate being recognized as somebody that can help you. Or maybe you had an experience where somebody felt like you were kind of putting like a burden on them and you'd want to remember like, okay, I know that they're the best person for this, but I didn't have a good experience. Maybe you want to ask them like, hey, would it be okay if I asked you for help in the future? And if so, what's the best way to ask you? Or would you rather I not? So that you're taking, edit your help menu as you use it to make it stronger and stronger for you. So here are some tips to start your own if this is something that sounds interesting to you. Add their categories where you might need help. I always start with the categories as opposed to the people, because I could have a whole list of people, but I'm like, well, what does that do for me? So I like the idea of like, these are things I typically need help with. These are things that I know people are good at. So it's kind of like matching the task I typically struggle with. So like easy, like if I'm like, I'm going to move furniture, it's going to be, ironically, either of my kids that live here, my youngest is pretty strong too. And my husband. So I'm like, okay, I've got like pretty good resources right here. Pretty much if anybody else is home, they can help me move furniture. But it might be different if I need help, like with my hair. I've only got one other person in this house that I'm going to ask for help with my hair. Those are like two really easy examples, but like it might be like I'm having trouble with like my tire pressure. Who am I going to ask? Who are you going to call? Sorry, I don't know why that just keep your list, your menu visible. So you not only remember that you have it, but you remember to use it. So if you put it away somewhere, I do have one in my personal owner's manual, my palm, but I also have one on my desk resources, because I won't always go back and pull out my full manual to like flip through. Yeah. It's like, if I have to open a book, sometimes it's too big of a resistance. I'll just be like, oh, I'll figure it out. So make it easy to get to, and then start small. pick one small thing you can ask for help with, especially if you struggle to ask for help. If you're
Yeah.
one of the people that there are many of us that really feel like we should just figure it out on our own, start small so you're building up your muscle to be able to ask for help more easily. And then, as always, celebrate your progress and wins, because it's only through recognizing that you've done something outside your comfort zone that if we acknowledge that and recognize and celebrate it, we'll strengthen it. So that's it. Help menu. All right, so now on to our main topic. When ADHD and anxiety collide. So this is a big topic. So I'm going to start this right off by just reminding everyone, whether you're new to this podcast or you've been a longtime listener. If you are, bless you.
Being here.
So much. But I am an ADHD coach. I am not a mental health practitioner. So I am not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I am not in any way, shape, or form able, or should I give any advice to do with like a mental health condition.
Yeah.
So I provide information. Always trust what you need. Get the help from a professional that is going to meet you where you are and be able to serve you, especially when it comes to anything with therapy, medication, follow-up.
Yeah.
With ADHD and anxiety, they often overlap. So the symptoms can look very similar, and it can be kind of confounding because it's like, is this anxiety? Is this ADHD? So really,
Yeah.
I'm going to underline here, not just somebody that understands ADHD. If you also have anxiety, you need somebody that understands both, ideally, because that's going to help you find somebody that can actually tease out, is your anxiety creating all of the challenges with your ADHD and executive function, or is your ADHD causing all of the anxiety because of all of the challenges that you're experiencing with your executive function? So there's a lot of overlap here. But studies show up to 50% of children and adolescents and 47% of adults who have ADHD also have anxiety, like diagnosed anxiety. Wow. So the numbers are most likely much higher, because as we all know, like there's so many undiagnosed, but I found that really interesting. It's such a high level of people that are impacted. And executive function deficits with ADHD, like being disorganized, having difficulty with planning and prioritizing those things, managing our time, can all lead to chronic stress. And remember, with stress, we're releasing, I feel like a fester or something from the family. we're releasing those stress hormones, which isn't a good thing. It's not helping our brain or our system. The cortisol will stay in our systems for 24 to 48 hours, research shows. Really, really bad. Like I try not to think about that when I'm feeling something myself, because but it does help me to kind of be like, okay, Patty, let's like shut down this negative spiral, because you are not doing yourself any favors here. So we have many experiences in our lives when we have ADHD and executive function challenges of where we fall short, where maybe we didn't meet our own expectations or other people's expectations. That creates stress, right? And it lowers our self-efficacy, which is our belief in our own ability to do the things that we intend or plan to do. And it also creates a lot of worry. I used to always say, even from a child, I was a professional worrier. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I can worry like nobody else's business. Yes. I used to sit at the window when my parents would go out on a date. This is when I was super young, because my parents divorced when I was young. And so I was probably like 8. And I remember like watching out the window for their car lights and just crying, because I was positive that they would never make it home.
Come back.
Because it was like 11 o'clock or something, and they weren't home yet. And I'm just like sobbing, looking out the window, positive that I've seen them for the last, which could happen.
Sure.
But my mind,
right, it would not.
It was not good.
Yeah.
So ADHD and anxiety symptoms, like I said, they do overlap. That complicates the treatment of both conditions. So let's talk about this. Yeah. We have a lot of experiences often if we have ADHD with stress, worrying. When we are worrying, our brain is being occupied by all of that energy and effort to think about the thing that we're worried about. And it literally impacts the already impacted executive functions, right? So our ability to focus on things, our ability to start something that we're meaning to begin on, our ability to plan and prioritize, our working memory, all of these things are impacted because all of our bandwidth can be taken up with the worry.
Yeah.
The thing, it's why I don't watch the news, and even reading the news can be really not like, I have to really, really try to minimize
Yeah.
how much,
You're
because
stronger.
my brain will just, it's like a ball with a ball with a bone, a dog with a bone, where it takes it and it's like, it's gone all the way, down to the edge
Yeah.
of the property. And I'm like, all right, well, that's all I'm going to be thinking about is,
Right.
it's there and I'm
Yeah.
going to have to try to get it back. Yeah. So, anxiety can also lead to avoidance. So if you think about, like, our brains are wired to protect ourselves, that's why we have these experiences with kind of like our heightened awareness of danger and, is this something I should worry about?
Yeah.
But the anxiety is really impactful because we can also often avoid things. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of anxious about that. I never mind. It comes up for me a lot with my social anxiety, where I'm like even like when I celebrated going to Phoenix, like, as however this sounds, I don't know, but judge what you will, but I'm just going to own it. Like, I was nervous about going to see my brother because I haven't seen him in a few years. And it was like, I had to keep like mentally talking myself down, like, this is your brother. What are you doing? I know, but it was just so like, I have not been to this place in Phoenix before,
Yeah.
and it's been a little while. So I was like, is it going to be awkward? It's only been like, I haven't seen him in person since my father died. So it's been 3 years.
Couple
And I was
years.
like,
Right.
okay,
Will it be weird?
I know. And I
Yeah.
have my brother and I get along really well. So it made no sense, but there was that kind
The
of,
what ifs.
it was that, just anxiety
Yeah.
creeping up, even if it made no sense. As my husband always says, stop worrying. I
Thanks.
love my husband, but I'm like, he has learned since then. Don't ever say that to me. Because do you think I would choose to do this if I could stop it? Yeah. And then also stress and anxiety can also lead to sleep disruptions. It is a vicious cycle. If you are experiencing this, you know of what I speak. And then of course, if our sleep is impacted, it further impacts our executive function. So it's a really, really vicious cycle. Research shows that people with both conditions, and this is no great surprise based on what I just shared, tend to have greater severity of symptoms of both. So your
Yep.
anxiety is higher and your ADHD challenges are higher. And so it goes. So this is a real challenge. So I don't want to paint this dismal picture and be like, all right, guys, that's it for today. Have a great rest of your day and week. And, come on back next time. I want to share, what can we do
Yeah, some strategies
to
or
help
something.
minimize the negative impact of this.
Anyhow.
So I'm gonna start this with a little like break. If this is still left in there, then it's because I felt like what I said I was comfortable putting out into the world. And if not, then this part won't be in here and you won't know the difference because Becca's going to edit it out. But I have a little note here. My story, question mark. And so I'm going to share a little bit of my story that Becca knows a lot, if not all of it already, but I've really debated putting this out there because I'm a really private person.
Yeah.
But I also know that this is a genuine, I'm holding up all my notes from my book club when I get to, or my book of the week, when I get to the book. This is a genuine thing that so many people with ADHD struggle with. And I am definitely one of them. Asking for help with my anxiety was something I just kept trying to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
And I mean, for years, I just kept trying to figure it out.
Or stuff it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hit a point almost a year ago now that every afternoon my anxiety would start rising and there was nothing. I mean, you want to talk about understanding general and anxiety disorder. It is like, there was nothing I could pinpoint it on. It was just this overwhelming fear rising and anxious, and it just felt so physically uncomfortable every stinking day. And it was awful. And I take medication for my ADHD. So this is the part I'm like, I think I've shared that before, but it doesn't literally, it doesn't address the anxiety. And
it doesn't.
It sometimes can make it worse.
Totally.
Now I've had, it changed so that it isn't, because I've had that happen before too. Again, not a medical professional, just sharing my personal story here.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to have to take something for my anxiety. I really, really, really didn't. Like, I absolutely was against it. But I've learned from a few of my own family members that it was like an absolute game
Game
changer for them. And
changer.
watching them, and I know that, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like, it makes sense that they would have anxiety with their ADHD.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, like, why can't I ask for help? If they're strong enough to ask for
Yeah.
help,
Why?
what
Yeah.
is it about me that I think I just need to figure this out? But I also knew from experience from my kiddos that untreated anxiety will turn into depression over time because it wears you down.
Physically,
It is
mentally.
absolutely debilitating over time, for, again, my experience. And so I finally asked for help, and it was really scary, and I was really uncomfortable, and I absolutely hated it. And I told my doctor when I asked for help how hard it was to even bring this up,
To
and
be
how
there.
I didn't want to do anything. Was there anything else they could offer?
Yeah, help me.
Yeah, help me without needing any. I just didn't want to take anything for
Yeah.
it. But, you know, in talking it through, and you know, I waited until the next appointment. It was like, well, you know, let's try this. Let's try, you know,
Yeah.
meditating and therapy, and, you know, and it's like, okay. And then I'm like, well, and I came back and I was like, okay. I'm starting to wonder if, like, a lot of the things I was experiencing challenges with were due to my anxiety.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
if it was impacting other things as well.
And you didn't realize
Yeah.
it.
And so I was like, what if we just go after the anxiety?
Yeah.
And so
Tackle it. Yeah. Tackle
it's
that anxiety.
so great. I should have just talked this through with her before I did. I told her all of this after the fact. But so I took a prescription for the anxiety specifically, and I cannot even begin to say how much it changed
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Your everyday life.
and it's not that I don't care. It didn't numb me, because that's what I was also afraid of, was that it would make me
Or
kind
like
of like,
change your personality.
yeah, just kind of feel like flat.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't, like, not at all. The thing that I noticed is if I do something that I think would have upset somebody, ordinarily I would spiral and be like, oh my gosh, do you think they took that the wrong way? Did that come off the way like I was
Oh,
describing?
no. Yeah.
Did I sound short there? Now I'm like, I'll apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that way. And then if there's any lingering thing, I literally am able to let it go and be
Yeah.
like, you know what? If there is something, I'm going to trust them to tell me.
Yeah, they'll let me know.
I don't need to. And it's like, and I literally in a moment be like, "Can't be." Like, what the hell is
You're like,
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that careful coordination with a medical health professional, whether it's therapist, medication, whatever route
Yeah.
makes sense for you, can be one of the most important ways to ask for help if you struggle with anxiety, especially if you have ADHD as well. So, coaching can also help, not necessarily, you know, with the anxiety itself. That's a medical condition that requires medical support. But if you are working with someone who understands ADHD and can help you, because I have to say, I probably would have made an appointment earlier if I had someone like helping me to take that step, because it was really, really
Yeah.
kind of insanely hard to ask. You know, when I look back, I'm like, wow, why did I wait so long to ask for help? But I am very grateful that I have asked for the help. But looking for a doctor or a therapist that specializes in ADHD and anxiety so that they can help you figure out where to target whatever's going on for you in a way that's actually going to help you and not make your situation more challenging than it is. Yeah, we don't want anything worse. So another strategy, so I'm going to move on here. So if that's still in there, great. If not, here's the next section. Let's talk about life skills that can help. So just when you are starting to feel like that stress level ratchet up, it might be that what you're trying to do is too big. Just always think about, make it smaller. If you feel resistance, make it smaller. If the task feels just a little bit like, you know, like that bite of your food, it's like, make it a little, or, you know, use a little spoon, you know, a little sample, keep it small. So break those large projects or tasks into smaller steps. Add structure to your life. We often, I'm going to cough here and probably have to go get my water. We often really push back against too much structure, too much routine. So this is definitely one of those Goldilocks areas.
Ooh.
Notice what amount creates that calm for you and lean into it. No structure is absolutely stress inducing, because everything that happens, we have to decide in the moment. And sometimes we're like, oh, I like that. I'm, you know, able to just fly free and do what I feel like in the moment. But if you never know what's happening until the moment, and you're constantly having to kind of navigate around whatever's right in front of you, it creates a lot of stress.
Yeah.
practice mindfulness, breathing, whatever that can also be really hard with ADHD because our minds are just racing. I was doing my yoga with Adrienne this morning and I swear she was spending 10 minutes on just breathing. And I was like, okay, I can't, Adrienne. I needed to make move this morning. So I was like, okay, you keep talking and I'm going to do it to like, I was like stretching and doing different things. I was moving. I was like, I can't just sit and listen to you. Although she is lovely and I like to hear her
We
talk.
love her, but
but I can only take so much breathing if I didn't come in looking for breathing.
right.
But practice mindfulness your way. Maybe just journaling about your thoughts. You can get that whatever you're thinking that you're worried about out. Sometimes if we, can kind of get some distance from it, it can help us to process it. Prioritize sleep. Tap into that sleep hygiene routine, whatever's going to help you lower resistance to going to sleep so that you're getting that sleep you need so you're not creating more stress for yourself. Spend time in nature. Nature is proven to reduce our stress levels. It's just the easiest way to go out and just connect. 20 minutes outside has really, really good benefits for your brain. Here's another like easy one. And I mean, again, to tap into that, start small, reduce clutter. Maybe you just start with one little section, one little counter space. I've had clients tell me like my kitchen's a mess, but I'll be focused on just the area in front of the toaster. Something is more than nothing. Yeah. Focus on what you can to reduce clutter because a lot of clutter creates stress. Minimize the decisions you make. That's where the routines come back in. If you have a morning routine, a night routine to bookend your day, think of all those decisions you didn't have to make. You know what you eat, you know what you're going to wear, you know what your process is, how long it takes in the morning to get out the door. You don't have to do that every day and have the stress of, oh gosh, I'm running late. I didn't realize I did it in a different order. Yeah. Minimize your decisions. I just said that. Okay, sorry. And then remember, you're not alone. If you're checking out this podcast, you most likely have ADHD or you have someone important in your life with ADHD and you're not alone. And if you have anxiety with ADHD, the research shows you are definitely not alone. Chances are that you and anybody else that that has ADHD struggles with at least some degree of anxiety. So connect with other peers, connect with a support group, find your tribe so that you have evidence that you're not alone because it can feel very isolating. Yeah. And then of course, create a help menu. Get that help you need so that you're not struggling. Okay, so to wrap up, ADHD and anxiety do often co-occur and you are not alone. They increase stress, both conditions do, and they impact your executive function skills, both of them do, which also makes that diagnosis and treatment more challenging. So seek support, ask for help, and remember, asking for help shows strength, not weakness. It takes a lot of strength to ask for help. Use it. All right, last thing is my book of the week. This is not related to stress. I was going to have a stress book that I was going to highlight, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm doing The Haunting of Hill House because we're going into Halloween. This was my book club book for this week. It's by Shirley Jackson. It is an old, like classic horror story. I give it like 3.5 to 4 out of 5. I listened to it. I did not read it. I don't like horror stories. I get scared easily. Same. I found listening to it, it was not scary. Like I was not scared in the slightest. Like if anything, I was like, all right, like I'm kind of glad people build it up. It's really scary. It's not. Okay. There's a Netflix mini series with the same title, but it is definitely a reimagined. It is not. They have some of the same names of people, but there's like a Theodora in the book and it's a Theo in the series. Yeah. So like they've definitely like borrowed some, but it's modernized. Because I'm like, who are these people? What? Are they twins? Like I was just like, all right, okay. So in a nutshell, it's a classic horror story about a group of people that are invited to stay in a famous haunted mansion. And as they stay in the house, strange and increasingly terrifying events unfold, blurring the lines of supernatural forces and characters' own fears. Spooky. Yep. So if that's your thing, you might want to check it out. You can just watch the Netflix series if you prefer to consume your content through video. Yeah, through TV series. But yeah, it was decent. I did see it on Netflix. Did you? Yeah, but I didn't watch it because I don't do scary. No, and I've seen 3 of the episodes. I watched them with my daughter only during the day, and it's not sticking in my brain. So if anything, I'm just kind of like, this this didn't happen in the book. And in the Netflix show, they go back and forth, back and forth. And I'm constantly like, what time? Who is that? And she's like, Mom, that's the daughter that was in, and I'm like,
That's gonna confuse
oh,
me.
oh yeah, it hurts my head, but I don't get scared.
Right.
So it's working. So anyway, that's this episode 210. As always,
Quote? Is there a quote of the?
oh my gosh, I forgot it last week too. If you check it out, thank you, Becca. I told her last time, I said, let me know if I forget. There is. Okay, this is from Tony Robbins.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Tony says, asking for help is a critical life skill. It opens doors, builds relationships, and accelerates growth.
Oh.
And then I have one from Simon Sinek. It's a twofer. I would have been so mad if I got off of this and I forgot to share my quote. Simon Sinek says, when we seek help, we create an opportunity for someone else to be a hero.
Oh, I love
that. I love that because I have had the experience where I asked somebody for help and they're so tickled to be able to help in an area that they really are strong in,
Shine.
that it makes them really, really happy. So that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Tally ho.